So you would have just seen us installing a recessed consumer unit inside a wall. We've taken the board back out here, it's in front of us. We've moved down to the studio now and we want to just talk to you through some of the considerations that we need to have when installing these inside a wall. What's the first sort of place you want to start then, Marcus? What do we need to consider when we're installing these boards?
Yeah, so really what we have to think about is actually how we're installing these boards, and that tends for us to cut a larger hole within a wall. So it might be a stud wall with batten, it might be thermalite. But even then we're going to have to chase into that wall and change the characteristics of the wall. So really we have to think about what effects that has on the fire properties of the building.
Okay, so where's the first place we need to think about then? Is it the fire leaving this particular board, or is it making sure that the fire doesn't spread throughout the rest of the building?
It's making sure the fire doesn't spread throughout the rest of the building. Naturally, we achieve that by stopping it from spreading outside of the board, but it's mainly to hold up the integrity of the material surrounding the area we've just created.
And 7671 doesn't tell us about that, does it? It says that we need to make sure that we use correct materials and the correct workmanship.
Yeah.
We would go to approved document B. That would let us know as to how we need to seal that, or
100%.
making sure that the integrity of that building. So that's the first place. It's not 7671 that determines that, it's approved document B, and it's to stop the spread of fire throughout the rest of the building. The devices that are inside these particular boards have an extinguish rate, and they will do so according to the standard. What about if we had thermal insulation in the wall? Do we need to take into consideration anything to do with the derating of the breakers maybe?
Yeah, 100%. And if you think back to when we calculate our cable sizes, we have to take thermal insulation into consideration there, because what the insulation is doing is stopping the dissipation of heat from the cable. And it works no different with a consumer unit, Jake. You think about renewables nowadays, we might have air source heat pump EV, and actually a big thermal load in that consumer unit. And if it's been buried in a stud wall now, and it's surrounded by that insulation, it's not going to be able to give off that heat. So we might have to consider upgrading our breakers for that derating thermal factor.
Okay, and then we've got some sealant in front of us here, Marcus. I noticed that this one here does say Fire Protect on it. So are they all the same, or do we need to choose a specific one to make sure that the seal around the board is correct as well?
Yeah, 100%. There's no one size fits all. So if we're looking at a larger area, you'll probably see a sort of an expanding foam type of fire seal. But the really important thing is actually looking at what the resistance values are and thinking about the material you've taken out, what that fire resistance is, and then choosing or selecting a correct, whether it's an expanding foam or more of a silicone-based product, making sure that this has the same resistance as the material that you're trying to keep the integrity of.
I've just noticed as well, it says fire resistance up to 4 hours on here.
Yeah.
So is that something that you're referring to there? We need to make
100%.
sure that the seal that we're providing fits in line with the fire strategy documents.
Yeah,
well.
if the material we've taken out or we've caused that hole, if the material around that is actually rated to, let's say, 6 hours, we can't then use a 4-hour rated product, because that's not going to achieve the exact same as the existing building. So we have to select it based upon
Surely
that.
if we put twice as much in though, that's going to give us 8 hours, no?
It might do.
So they're just some of the considerations that you need to be aware of when you're installing these consumer units in a recessed environment. Don't forget, like, subscribe and share, and we'll see you on the next one.